Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, Fluffy Bunny here from Mohawk Games, and welcome to another Old World stream with the devs. So tonight I thought we would try something a little bit different. So normally these streams focus on highest difficulty gameplay, or recently a lot of multiplayer games, thanks to the Old World Community Tournament, which I highly recommend getting involved with, which you can check out on the Discord or on our YouTube playlist with a lot of VODs of commented games, which have generated a fair bit of excitement, so always good to see. So, but this video we are going to be doing, just a bit of a tutorial, an easy game, just to get you into it. So I know there's a lot of new players of Old World recently, so I thought this might be useful. So if you want to learn Old World, if you're just getting started with it, there's a few different ways you can do that. In the extras menu, in the main menu here, you've got a manual. So you've got a link to the manual, which is an old school 250 page manual stroke strategy guide, which dives into a lot of topics and is an interesting read. If you want to come talk to people, then you've got a link down the bottom left here to our Discord channel, which is a great place to hang out with other people who are interested in Old World, ask questions, learn from them, and just generally vibe with Old World. And then we've got, in the scenario menu, we have 5 learn to play scenarios, which are heavily scripted, step by step, do this, do that, and that will take you through the basics of Old World. They don't teach you everything, but it's a good introduction. We've also got these learn by playing games as opposed to learn to play. There's 4 difficulties going up from able to strong, which are some of the Old World difficulty levels, and they're it's just basically a regular game of Old World, but it's a preset map, so this will be the same every time you play it. So I'm going to play Learn by Playing 1, Babylonia the Able, this evening. So if you want to play along and select this scenario, then you will see exactly the same map and layout that I'm getting. You'll be able to compare your experience and, see how you get on. So, but otherwise it's a regular game. I've got the tutorial tooltips on the tutorial events, so we'll be seeing them as we go. And I'm just going to play through this, take it fairly slowly, try and explain as I go. But if you're watching this live and you have any questions, feel free to ask, and hopefully we'll show you some of the basics of Old World. So we are playing as Nebuchadnezzar, the wisest king of Babylonia, and we are going to show the Old World the splendour and wisdom of Babylonia. So first thing we need to do is select our settler and found our capital city. So this is the game screen of Old World, and you've got your settler right in the middle of the screen here, sitting on a city site. Now, one of the differences with Old World from Civ, for example, which is what it often gets compared to, is that only city sites are the only place you can found cities. So you can't just go and settle anywhere you want. You have to found on these preset locations, and you often have to clear out barbarians or tribal units first, and come up against other enemy nations who are already settled. So in Old World, basically you've got barbarians, which are just your mindless people who get in your way and always hostile. You've got tribes, which you can do some limited diplomacy with. You can ally with them as well. They have camps on city sites, but they're quite limited in what they can do. And then you've got nations, which are essentially exactly the same as the player. So in Old World, the AI nations are having access to exactly the same tools, and you follow the same rules as the player does. And that's who you'll be competing against. So let's go ahead and found our first city. So when we select our settler, on the left here you'll see we have a choice of 4 different families. So each city in Old World you're going to give to one of the noble families to rule on your behalf. There's 4 families that are associated with every nation, and you can only choose 3 of them in each game. So you've got hunters, artisans, traders and sages here. I'll only be able to take 3 of these. The one I don't pick will not be used for the rest of the game. So you've got, if you hover over them, you can see all their bonuses. which if you're just starting out may not mean very much to you. You know, what are these, what all of these symbols mean, what's going on here. What you can do is lock tooltips, which is a very useful way to learn the game. So if you want to know a little bit more about a concept, you either middle click or you hold down shift and then left click on a tooltip here, and this locks it now. So this is now stuck here, and we can hover over, for example, this little red icon and see that means training, and see what that means. We can see what a camp is. You know, I mean, you can hover over a lot of these different things. It's always a good idea to read the tooltips. An old world explains an awful lot. So if you don't want to dive into all of these things, what you also got here in the top right corner is a little question mark. So you can hover over them and just get a little summary of what each family does, what they're good at, and why you might choose them. So you've got hunters, which are a military and growth based family. They're very good near these certain resources which get extra bonuses for. One of which is game, of which we have a couple here, so that's definitely a strong contender for settling in this situation. Then we've got the artisans, who generate extra culture and are good for mines and lumber mills, so good in hilly and tree areas, so that's another reasonable choice. We've got a few hills and trees around here. Traders, you get extra money from specialists, you get a free fare, you get lots of bonuses. Traders are just generically good at generating money, basically. And then you've got the sages, which are the science family, as you might expect. They focus on science specialists, and extra civics, which is what you actually need to build specialists, which increase your science. So that's the families. We're going to choose the hunters in this situation, because as I said, we've got a couple of game here. That's always a good start. And let's go ahead and click that button. That founds our city. What I should have done, and in fact actually this is another good thing we can show you, is the undo button. So in the bottom left corner down here, you've got undo and redo last move. So if we want to change our mind about a move we just made, we can just click undo and come back to this screen, and we're fine. So the other thing I just want to cover before we carry on is, if you move your mouse around these 5 urban tiles here, the ones highlighted in green, are the ones we can settle on. They belong to this city site, and this is the only place we can actually move to. And as I move the cursor around, you can see the borders change. The green outline here, that's going to show you what's going to be in your initial city radius. And it's, yeah, basically giving you a preview there. So your city radius is 2 tiles out from wherever your settler is, plus it also extends to grab these resources here. So for example, this marble is 3 tiles away, but we're grabbing it because it's a little bit of a boost there. But yeah, so do we want to change where we're going to settle? If we move anywhere else, actually if we move down here, we'll get the marble and we'll get the elephants. This is actually a slightly better place for us to be settling, because we get all these resources, which is definitely going to be helpful for us. So let's go ahead and found the hunters family here. Okay, now, lots going on. So we've got several units that have immediately popped out. We can see we've got our city Babylon here. It's building a settler, which will be ready in 4 years. We've got some information under here, the number of specialists, citizens and discontent. A little icon here showing the city is connected to the capital, which is fair enough because it is the capital. But yeah, these units are the main focus. So we've got a couple of workers, which are these units with the shovel icon here and here. They're going to be building our improvements. We've got a couple of military units. We've got a slinger and a militia who are going to be going off and fighting for us. And we've got a couple of scouts who can obviously go and explore the land, see what's happening. So a very good thing to be doing on your first turn is to get some improvements going. Hello, Mr. Lonely's Kitten. Welcome to the chat. Good to have you on board. Yeah, first thing. Okay, right. So we've got a tutorial pop up. So we clicked on workers. So workers build improvements, and there's 2 categories of improvements: rural improvements and urban improvements. Which are either going to give you raw materials or give you other resources like training and culture, more intangible resources. You've got a resource bar up the top here. So you've got your money, food, iron, stone and wood. That's all your rural resource economy. And then you've got orders, science, civics, training and luxuries, which is more urban related luxuries are actually mainly come from rules. But anyway, yeah. So urban improvements have to be built next to other urban types. Let's get to work. So when we select the worker, we can see pop up some recommendations. So it's saying here's a good place to build a mine, here's a good place to build a camp. And if we hover over it, it will show you all the other places you can build them as well, and the resources you get out of it. So for example, this camp, we can see we're getting 4 growth and 20 food. So that's the growth icon there, and the apples are food. Let's go ahead and just build a farm where we are. And we'll get our other worker over here on this camp, get some food, get some growth going. That will definitely help us expand and be in a good place to be. The other important thing to know about Old World is you are limited by orders. So you've got an order count in the bottom left here. Everything, pretty much everything you want to do on the map at least, costs you an order. And once you're out of orders for a turn, you cannot do anything else. So we're going to be limited. We're not going to be able to use all of these units. Let's get a scout and see what else we can see. We want to try and find another city site to settle on. You always start with a settler being built, and that is definitely a good thing to keep. You don't want to be changing that, because this is the game's way of telling you what you want to be doing is founding another city. So you build a settler which can go out and find a city on a city site. But of course, as we can only found on city sites, we need to go and find one to settle on. So we can see immediately this ancient ruin is glowing in the on the left hand side over here. So ancient ruins are the equivalent of goody huts in Civ. So if we come and move over here, we're going to get an event. We're going to get some nice bonuses. So this is the event system. You'll see these pop up a lot in Old World, and yeah, they can be triggered from things your units do. They can happen at the start of the turn. They can happen in lots of different ways. So anyway, we've come across an impressive paved road system. What are we going to do with it? We can break it down for stone, which is going to give us a whole load of stone, and if we lock the tooltip here, we can see the here. This is giving us 1 discipline point. This is a stat on our leader, which is going to give us extra money. So we're going to upgrade our leader, basically make him more disciplined to earn us some gold and get loads of stone. Or we can get a free technology, labour force, which will let us build roads and enact a couple of laws. So already a great choice. We've got loads of resources already because we're starting on an easy difficulty level. So technology is never a bad choice. So let's grab some tech. Very nice. And let's keep exploring. And we found our first city site up here. So this is excellent. We'll be able to send our settler there soon and have some good times. So the next thing we need to do, you can see in the bottom left here, we're being prompted to choose a research. So this pops up at the top here. We've got a few choices: ironworking, stone cutting, divination, or because we are a scholar, we can actually read more and get a new set of technologies. So the way the tech system works is you've got a load of cards, basically. You've got a deck of cards for techs, and you draw them. You draw 3 or 4 at a time, and you have those choices to research from. You may have unlocked more techs than that, but you'll only have a limited amount to choose from. So you'll forced to work with the tech system, basically, and not always going to be able to get exactly what you want. So ironworking, stone cutting, or divination. Stone cutting is definitely a good choice early on, because that lets you build quarries and get your stone income going. So immediately from the start of the game, you can always build farms, which will get you food. You can always build mines, which get you iron. But in order to build quarries to get stone, you need to get the stone cutting tech. And in order to build lumber mills to get wood, you need the forestry tech, which is actually quite deep into the tech tree. And you won't generally get that till later in the game. So what you can do, though, is chop trees before that in order to get wood, which we will possibly cover in a bit. But let's crack on. So that was the first turn. It's definitely a slow one, but yes, as I said earlier, feel free to ask questions if you're watching this live. So we've got ended our turn. We've got a pop-up at the start of our turn. Our Princess Kashaya now old enough to be tutored by courtiers. So tutoring is something you can do with your kids when they reach 10 years old. If they're between 10 and 18, then you can try and make them better, basically educate them, which is definitely something worth investing in if you have the option to do it. Now we've also got an education event. So the shoemaker, so not permitted to enter the prominent city courts, Francisca Shire and her friends spend their days in the surrounding market with an erudite shoemaker and his group of merchant philosophers. So she seems to have been enriched by these experiences. We can choose how we respond to this. So this event's popped up, so we've got a choice. We can say not all education is found in the classroom. We can get her a random trait, all of which are quite nice, or we can scold her for abandoning her formal studies. We get a discipline point on her, she gets some more money, and we become strict, which gives us, our new infantry units, more XP. Let's say not all education is found in the classroom. Let's make our air better, shall we? So we've got the orders tutorial here. So yeah, ordered unit can move multiple times each turn, but each move consumes an order, as does other stuff. And yeah, if we run out of orders, we won't be able to move anything else. Alrighty, so we've got 9 orders now. So if we hover over these, you've got a bar at the bottom, these icons pop up, they're a notification. So we can right click to dismiss them. And we've got this reminder notification icon here that will flash, that will show you there's things you can do. You don't necessarily have to do them, or it's not necessarily even always a good idea to do them, but it's a reminder that something is available. So for example, tutoring, we can tutor our daughter, which is definitely something that is useful to be doing when you can. So because our king is a scholar, he has a special ability to tutor children. Normally you would need a courtier to do this, but we can tutor by the king and we can improve their stats. It's going to take 3 years to complete. It'll cost us a couple of orders to start the mission, but let's go ahead and do that. You can see a little star appears over the king's portrait here, showing you the mission that is in progress. We've got some military units, we've got some scouts. We don't really want to be just sending the military units out willy-nilly, because they have a very bad vision range, military units, so they're not great for exploring. We definitely want to use our scouts to do that. But as soon as we find the military units to attack, then we will then start selecting and doing stuff with our military units. The other thing we might want to consider is putting a governor in Babylon. We've got this little icon down here that says, this little empty circle here, choose governor for Babylon. So we can slot in our king or some other characters and get some extra stats from that. But we can see here we don't have enough civics. So it says it costs 100 civics, and that is in red because we only have 32 of them at the moment. So that's not something we can do this term, but perhaps something we'll want to remember to do a bit later. Select our scout here. One of the things scouts can do is they can harvest. So there's these resources on the map. Scouts can harvest them to get a bonus in the capital. So gems we can harvest, we get 10 culture in Babylon, which will help that city grow and become more cultured and be more useful. So let's go ahead and do that. Click that button. And where else do we want to scout? Let's you can see the movement ranges here. So this shows you how many orders you'll have left after moving. So we can see we've got 6 orders at the moment. If we move here, we'll have 5 left. Here 4, here 3. So it's generally a good idea to move as far as your movement range can allow. So it'd be better to move, for example, to this hill right by the edge of the fog rather than to the hill right next to me, because it's still going to cost me an order regardless, and I'll get more vision range down here. No Less Kitten says this is a deviation from the original start because we pre-adopted the law, so you don't start with many civics available. Yes, that's worth pointing out. The Lun by-playing scenarios were made a little while ago. There are a few deviations from the normal start. Normally you would start with at least a city site visible and some more civics and yeah, a couple of other bits and pieces. But yeah, worth knowing, but it isn't going to be too much of an issue. Let's carry on scouting. Found some more horses. Every time we recover uncover resources on the map. You can see a little bit of gold text floated above the horse here. So we get resources for uncovering resources. Yes, yields technically we get for uncovering resources on the map immediately. Let's carry on scouting. So we've discovered a landmark. We can name a river we would like to. Let's go ahead and call this the Fluffy River, because why not? Sure, love it. If anyone would like to name a landmark, then feel free to think of something, and next time it comes up, I'll give people a chance watching live to name one. All right, we found another city site here. This is good. Let's keep exploring. Right, so this scout is now out of order. So if I try and move him now, you can see the tutorial. The scout's used all its moves and become fatigued. The units can still be moved with a force march, but it will cost twice as many orders to execute. So yeah, you can see there's little circles above a unit's head. So it's got 4 pips a scout, and if we look at, say, a slinger, there's 3 pips. It only appears above its head after it moves. But yeah, normal units have 3 points of fatigue, scouts have 4, and once you've moved that many times, then even if you have orders left, you can't keep moving. You need to wait until next turn, unless you want to burn training and extra orders to force march them, which will let them keep moving. But yeah, definitely expensive. So we can use another unit. Let's get our other scout here, coming out in the other direction. Also quite a good idea to, well, again, let's move as far as we can for 1 fatigue point, because we might have uncovered some more terrain when we did that. That would have been helpful to maximise our scouting radius. We didn't in this case. And yeah, we're preferring to move on top of hills because you can see further, you get a bit more vision range, you can see what's going on. But we are now out of orders again for this turn, so we'll end the turn there. So this is a result of the event we dealt with last turn. So we chose to allow Princess Kashaya to debate with the merchant philosophers, and she's managed to pick up the witty trait. So she's got extra wisdom and charisma from that, which is giving us some more science and civics, which is very nice. These traits can also be relevant for other events. So other events can happen because our daughter is witty now. So good to know. So Princess Kashaya is showing signs of taking after her mother, who is educated. So again, this is another random event. Princess Kashaya has become slothful. Unlucky. We had a few possible options there, and we've got the bad one. So slothful is not good. It is, let's see, it's a weakness. We lose training when she's the leader or a governor. Not great, but that happens. Characters have weaknesses and strengths. That's the way it goes in Old World. Let's keep exploring and seeing what else to see. Yes, okay, we know this already. Sure. So we found another city site. We've got lots of choices now for where we want to settle. So on the easier difficulty levels, you'll find that these city sites are often empty, especially the ones around your starting area. On harder difficulty levels, these would be populated with barbarians and tribes, and you would have to fight them. But for the moment, all is good. Ah, we have met a tribe. So the Numidians are one of the tribes. Haughty barbarian warlord demands an audience. Numidians will permit you to befriend them, but only if you recognise their superiority. So, if we say friendship will benefit us both, we get maintain the initial truce, little truce flag here, but all our families will get a lower opinion of us, which is not ideal, but it's not that bad. If our king had 2 courage, we could make peace with the Numidians, but unfortunately our leader is more of a science guy, bit of a nerd, not very brave, so we can't choose that option. It's greyed out. Or we can declare war on the Numidians for 6 legitimacy, afraid of tribes. So let's minimise that event. That's another thing to know. You can just minimise these events if you want to have a look around the map and before you decide. We can see the Numidians are down here. Now, you might be thinking, well, this is very early in the game. I've only got one city. I haven't really built anything yet. It's a bit early to be declaring war on tribes. Good thing to know about tribes is that you can declare war on them and they won't immediately come and start attacking you. Tribes generally just hang out around their camp. They won't venture too far. And it is good to be able to clear them to get another city site to settle on. So you can be friends with the tribes. You can get some nice events coming out of them if you keep them on side. But it is definitely not a terrible idea to declare war. We do get extra legitimacy. Now, legitimacy is a very nice thing. So legitimacy gives you family opinion, it makes everyone like you, and it gets you extra orders of the turn. So orders are a very, very precious resource. Family opinion is great to have. So whenever you get the opportunity to get legitimacy, that's definitely worth considering. But it is a very handy thing. So let's take that. Let's declare war on the Numidians. And we actually do now have a target for our military units, so we can send them down to come and say hello. So let's move our slinger down here. Now, the military units, there's a couple of things to look at here. So we can add generals to the military units, we can make them better. We can add our king, who is a scholar, so possibly not the best choice for a general. Or we have Belesunu the Swift, who is a swift tactician. So these are her traits. So Swift makes all the units she is general of move faster, move more. Tactician means they can counterattack during melee. So in old world combat, units don't automatically counterattack when they're attacked, but the tactician general is one way that you can get a counterattack, which is quite nice to have. The other thing you can do is give them promotions. So you always get a choice of 4 different promotions. These will cost you training, which we have a nice stockpile of up here, 456. Cost you training equivalent to the amount of experience that unit is lacking towards its next promotion. So if we just attacked with this unit, it would earn experience for every attack and more experience for every kill it gets. And eventually it would gain enough to get a promotion for free. But we can actually force that promotion early by spending training on a promotion equivalent to the amount of experience we're missing. So we need 100 XP for this unit to level up, so we could just spend 100 training to bridge that gap. So we've got a choice of combat, bit of extra strength. Guard, it's just extra defense strength, it doesn't help them attack at all. Eagle Eye is a very nice promotion for ranged units. Lets them ignore the distance modifier. Normally ranged units get a penalty depending on how far away they are, but Eagle Eye lets them ignore that. Or Tough means that as soon as they're damaged they get extra strength. So none of those things are going to help us immediately with clearing this camp. Let's put a tactician on the slinger so we can get some counter-attack damage and move a bit faster. That's always very good. And let's move our militia down here as well. And yeah, go and say hello to the Numidians. That's all our orders for the turn, so let's end the turn there. Okay, so our workers finished building these camps. We're getting some nice food and growth here. So growth, just to explain that a little bit more, is helpful for growing new citizens. So that increases our population, and it also determines how fast we can produce civilian units like settlers and workers. So in Babylon, the city queue here, you've got growth, training and civics, 3 different production resources, and all the things you can produce in the city are split into one of these categories. How fast you can produce any of these things is dependent on the income. Because we've got 19.2 growth here, these settlers and workers are all coming out quite quickly, but because we've only got 10 training, the slinger is a bit slower, and because we've only got 8 civics, these specialists are quite slow as well because they need them. So growth is great though, because growth will help our initial city grow, and we want loads of settlers to settle all these city sites. We definitely want to focus on growth early. We can chop some trees now, so this camp is on a forest. One of the work actions we can do is chop these trees. We can get 20 wood, and it will turn this into cut trees rather than actual trees. They will grow back if we leave that. We can actually clear that land, which means the trees won't grow back, but will give us another instant 20 wood. We don't need to do that right now, but definitely helpful to keep your wood supply topped up before you get the ability to build lumber mills, which, as I said, does come later in the game. So let's keep chopping and building another camp, and we're utilising our hunter bonus here, because camps normally give you 2 growth and 10 food, and that's getting doubled because of the hunter bonus, which is the family that's controlling the city. So that's helping us quite a bit there. Let's move our slinger down. You can see as we start moving to range, we get a damage preview. You can see we're doing 5 damage to this unit here. All units have 20 health, so that's a quarter of its health bar going down. We move a bit closer, you can see we do even more damage, because now we don't have the ranged penalty, and we're now doing 7 damage. And on the left hand side here, you've got a preview that breaks down all the bonuses and how much damage you're going to do and why. I won't go through the damage formula here, but there is a tutorial video you can watch if you want to know the details of how that works. But the main thing is we're just going to attack and do a bit of damage. Let's get our militia down to help out as well. Now, what I would quite like to do is clear out this camp as quickly as possible, because when we end turn, we're going to take some damage from this Numidian nomad skirmisher, but we're out of orders. So one thing you can do is you can buy orders. If you click on the order button here, you can spend 100 training to buy an order, which is not something you're going to be able to do all the time or would want to do, but in the situations where you desperately need some more orders and you're out for a turn, then it is very useful. We're actually going to buy a couple here. I'm going to move the militia down 1 more and attack. So this takes them down, if we hover over their health bar, to 8, health out of 20, which means next turn we'll be able to finish clearing this camp and take a bit less damage. So let's go ahead and end the turn now. Let's see them attack. See who they choose to attack. They choose to attack the slinger there. Okay. Managed to finish tutoring the princess, increased her wisdom. Fantastic. So princess is now up to 6 wisdom, which is giving us a global 6 science a turn. So all of our 21 science coming in from our empire, 6 of that is coming from our daughter. That is very nice indeed. We've got another event here, which is a philosophy student. We could get a new courtier, scholar, or we could just get some more wisdom on Kashaya. Now, the way ratings work in Old World is that you've got 4 different ratings: wisdom, charisma, courage, and why have I forgotten the last one? Discipline. And they all give you different amounts of yields. And the more you stack a rating, the better that bonus gets. So, like 1 charisma will give us 1 civic, 2 charisma might give us 2 civics, but as you get to 3 charisma, that would be more like 4, and then 4 might be 8. So it increases quite quickly. So it's quite good to stack ratings wherever possible. So yeah, 6 science for 6 wisdom, but if we get 1 more, then now she'll be up to 8.5 science. And yeah, doing some very good research for our nation. It's a third of our nation science now. The characters become very powerful as they get better. Right, so now we can kill this Numidian on the camp here. We can do 5 damage with the militia and 7 with the sling, which is enough. Important thing to note is militias can't gain experience. They're a civilian unit. They can't be promoted or earn XP. So what we don't want to do is kill this unit with the militia, because the extra experience we'd get from killing the unit would be wasted. So we're going to attack with the militia first and then attack with the slinger. And the other bonus of that is that generals of units get experience as well. So if we keep getting kills with the slinger with the general on it, both the slinger and the general will level up separately and get bonuses. So that's good as well. We've got a new landmark, the Red Sea. Anyone would like to name that, then please feel free. Otherwise it'll probably be the Fluffy Sea, because, you know, why not again? Yeah, I'm going to go for that. Okie dokie. Right, another event liberated because we cleared this new Median settlement. We've got a another pop-up here. We can get a citizen in Babylon or a discontent level, but get a free warrior. So citizens are good because they help us build specialists in our cities, which will help get us science and more yields. But an extra free warrior is pretty good too. It will double our number of military units if you don't count the militia. But we do get a discontent level for it, which is generally bad. Let's get a free citizen at the moment. It's quite nice, and we can specialise our city. We've finally finished building a settler in Babylon, so we can choose which of our city sites to send this settler to. Now, because this was a tribal site, if we move these military units away, then it will start a timer, and this new Median hovel will respawn after a little while. So this is probably a good place for us to go, because these empty city sites will just stay there unclaimed for a while. Potentially other nations can come and grab them, but it's unless another nation intervenes, they won't. Nothing will happen to them. Whereas this one will definitely turn back into a Numidian camp in 10 turns. So let's come down this way and come settle this site. And we've got loads of sites, so we would quite like another settler. There's lots of things we could build here. We could build another worker and start improving our lands more. We could build some more military. We could start building specialists. So basically how that works is you build improvements. We've got a camp and a farm in Babylon now, and we can build specialists on those improvements over here or by hovering over the plus button. And that's just a way of getting some extra value out of those improvements. So rural specialists will give you more yields and a little bit of science. Urban specialists give you also the more intangible yields like training in civics, but they also give you even more science. So they're quite good too. And we've got these civics projects here: treasury, forum, hunt. Good, but generally units are often a better choice, especially if you have the orders to use them. Early in the game we want to blob out, build some more settlers. We do have the civics to assign a governor now in the capital. So I think we will. If we put the king in, the king always gets us an extra 2 growth as the leader. It's just a flat bonus that he gets for being in there, so that will help us get the settler out a little bit quicker. You can see it went down from 5 years to 4 years there. And the king will start getting experience now every turn just from being a governor, which is helpful. 4 XP a year. So what else have we got? Our settler has moved as far as he can. We can see in the bottom left down here we've got these idle units icons here. So we can see we've got 1 idle worker and 2 idle scouts. Let's get our worker doing something because we want to keep improving our nation. I'd like to get this marble online to start getting some stone in, but we haven't quite finished researching stone cutting yet. It's going to come next term. So in the meantime, let's come and build on this camp. This is going to give us another order a year, which is super useful. That'll increase our order income up to 12 a turn, and yeah, that will help us get more stuff done. The more orders you have, the more stuff you can do in a turn, which is yeah, very helpful. Alright, let's keep scouting. Come down this way. Keep yeah, sitting on the hills where we can. See a little bit more of the fluffy sea. And let's see, now we've got the tutoring available icon, but we forgot to tutor. I forgot to tutor, and we're out of orders. It costs 2 orders to tutor, so this is now greyed out. We could spend 200 in training to buy the orders we need to tutor right now, but we may as well wait till next turn. So tutoring takes 3 years, and you can do it between the ages of 10 and 17. So if we wait 1 more year, when she's 14, we can get a tutor mission in at 14, and then another one at 17 in another 3 years' time. And even though she'll turn 18 before it completes, that tutor mission will still finish. whereas as soon as she turns 18 we can't start tutor missions. So we'll definitely have to remember to tutor next turn, and that was a good opportunity to show you another thing. So let's just undo that. So I showed you undo earlier. If you hold control and undo, you can just undo the whole turn, go back to the end of the next turn. One thing you can do is if you hold Alt and left click, you get this little ping wheel coming up. One of them is a little speech bubble here. Excuse me, click on that and we can set ourselves a little reminder. So tutor air, and it turns to reminder 1, please. And you see a little pop-up appears on the map here, and then when we end the turn that will disappear and it'll become part of the turn summary tutor app. So it's a very handy way to leave notes for yourself if you want to do something in a certain amount of turns. Then yeah, just pop a note down. We've got stone cutting, which is fantastic. We need to remember to tutor the air, so let's do that right now. So we can do that from this little pop-up here. You can also do it from the leader, tutor child, or we can click directly on the air and tutor there. Okie dokie, right, settler. We've got the settler ready to go. We can found a city this turn, which is fantastic. Again, you can see if you hover over the various urban tiles here, you can see where the borders are going to pop. I don't think it matters too much in this case where we settle. Let's come down here. And we've got a choice of families again. So we can see we've already founded the hunters. If we can choose the hunters again, but we'll get a penalty for skipping family seats. So all our cities will start getting discontent a year if we found hunters again. So it's generally a good idea to spread out your families. You don't want to give all your cities to one family. It's possible, but it's not generally the recommended way to do it. So we've got a choice of artisans, traders or sages here. Again, we could hover over and look at all the bonuses. But traders do get 100% output from nets, and there is a net resource down here, these pearls, which is going to be very handy. Hopefully there may even be some more net resources along the coast. So traders is probably going to be a good choice for this city. Let's go ahead and found them. There is loads of trade resources here, in fact. That's fantastic. Right, now because we settled, we got what's known as a cognomen, the settler. So as you do various acts in the game, settling, fighting, exploring, discovering texts, all these things are tracked and you can get cognomens from them. So because we founded 2 cities, we've got the settler cognomen, which gives us 20 legitimacy. And the cognomen is just like a nickname, basically an acquired title. But that's boosting our legitimacy, which again boosts our family opinion and our orders. So that's fantastic. So they will pop on the game. You can try and aim for them if you're particularly got a cognomen you're aiming for, but generally they're just going to happen. And yeah, good stuff. What's worth knowing is when your leader dies, which they will at some point, the heir will become the new leader. They'll start off with the new, and they'll have to earn their cognomens again. So everyone, all your leaders have to prove their own worth. We did get a new courtier. So because we founded the trader's seat, one of their bonuses is they start with a court merchant. So these courtiers are going to be just giving us stats from their ratings here. So we're getting some extra civics and money. And they can also tutor the kid as well. So we can get some double tutoring going on. Both the leader and a courtier can tutor at the same time. Loads of stats. And courtiers also have the ability to become generals and governors, regardless of their archetype, which is quite useful. So another bonus of the trader's family is you get to get a free fare, which is an improvement which gives you extra gold, which is very handy. So we get a little options of where to place it. You'll see that not all of these tiles are valid. We have to place it either on an urban tile, which is one of these, or adjacent to an urban tile, or either adjacent to the capital or adjacent to 2 urban tiles, or along the coast. If we put it along the coast here, we get an extra pearl in our borders, so that's fantastic. Do that. So urban tiles will expand your borders, as will rural improvements with a specialist on. So they're one of several ways you can expand your borders. Border expansion is entirely deterministic in Old World. There's no randomness. There's no expansion just based on culture level ups or anything like that. It's you choose generally when you want to expand your borders and where. So we've got some more tech we can research. We've got a choice of ironworking, stone boost, divination or free worker. And something new here that we've not seen before this game. So there are a couple of these cards here, the stone boost and the free worker. They are what's known as bonus cards. So they're not actually technologies as such, but you can spend your research to get this bonus. So we can get free worker, we can get 200 stone. If we don't choose one of these, then it will be permanently trashed and discarded. So basically, if we choose to research something else, we're never going to get the option to research the stone boost or the free worker again. Whereas all the other texts, the normal texts, will get cycled back, and they'll pop up again at some point. But yeah, free worker, any of these yellow bonus cards won't come back again. Free worker would be quite nice for us, but we do have a lot of growth in our capital. We can build workers pretty quickly. 3 years for a free worker. Whereas 200 stone, we've not got any stone income at all at the moment. So I think we're going to take that stone boost. It's only 1 year. Very generally quite cheap, these bonus cards. So you do have to invest some science that you're not using to hit technologies. But if you've got a decent science rate, it can be very much worth it to get those bonus cards. Excuse me. So, where are we? Opus. What do we want to build an Opus? Sorry, do apologise. Generally quite a good idea to get a worker out when you build a new city. I'm just going to mute for a second and have a coughing fit. Bear with me. And we're back. Yeah, when you build a new city, it's often a good idea to get a worker so you can start improving the various resources in your city, and so that's what we're going to do. We have the option to put a governor in here as well. None of these are massively exciting yield wise, so we're not going to. And we don't have 100 civics either, so we can't do that immediately. Let's see, we can tutor, because of course we just got our courtier. We can see our king is already tutoring, but we can tutor via the courtier. It will cost us money to tutor with a courtier, but we have 200 money, so that seems fine. And yeah, let's just increase the stats on our heir as much as possible, and that would be great for us. Let's keep exploring. There's no other notifications we need to deal with this term. Let's come down here, see what we can find. Found another Numidian camp, so that will be a nice target for our military units to pop down and keep expanding. And let's end the year there. So we got stone boost, so our stone massively jumped up now. We could possibly think about building a wonder soon. We've contacted another nation, Egypt. Attacked by a bear. Let's minimise that for a second and have a look. So we can see, as soon as you contact a nation, you'll see the unit that has initiated contact, but you'll also see in the fog their capital, which we can see over here, Waset. So they're not too far away from us. You'll also see in the top left corner the nation list will appear. You can see Egypt here, and we can hover over that. And you can see they've got one city. We can see their opinion of us. They're upset because we're stronger than them and we're near them. We also see a couple of comparisons here. Egypt is weaker than us, so this is a military strength comparison. They have less military units than we do, and they're also naive in terms of knowledge, so they don't know as much as we do. They've not researched as much tech, so that's good to know. So let's pop up this event. So we've contacted Egypt. couple of overturned wagons. Egyptian woman and her children weep over a dead body. Survivors claim a bear attacked them without warning. So we've got some options here. So this event is an example of one where could lead to future events. So you don't know immediately what's going to happen. We can spend some orders to escort the survivors. We can spend less orders to give the survivors a guide, or we can spend 0 orders to just say, yeah, we'll let people nearby know that you've got problems. But yeah, we don't know what these future events are. We don't know what the effects are going to be. But let's spend the orders. Let's be nice and hope for a good outcome on that one. We've got some more events down here. We can click in the bottom left corner down here to see what's going on there. Right, so we've got another inheritance event here. Our 7-year-old son is taking after his mother. We've got a choice of educated, intelligent or slothful. We've got slothful on our heir. Let's hope we don't get slothful on him again. No, we've got intelligent on this guy. Perfect. So our 7-year-old is clever. It's going to be very nice if he becomes the leader or just becomes a governor at some point. That'll give us some more science. This is a trait that doesn't give any benefits on its own. It really, you want to put this guy in as a governor when he becomes an adult. Obviously, as a 7-year-old, he's not eligible to govern a city yet, but later in life, that might be useful. Reference material. Okay, translation is so close on the tip of your tongue, but once again it slips out your grasp. The treatise you are studying uses a strange and archaic form of the Babylonian language, morphed by its use by an offshoot culture. Their specific lilt and turns of phrase. Queen Consort is offering to help me. How lovely. There's a rough translation on how the king gathered it all under one. What could it mean? What could it mean? Well, it could mean we can get an ambition. An ambition to control 3 connected cities. Interesting, plus a bit of culture in Babylon. So ambitions are one of the ways you can win the game. So if you complete 10 ambitions, you get an ambition victory. And ambitions are basically just goals, challenges, things that you can do that will, every ambition you complete will get you some legitimacy, and if you get 10 of them, then you win the game. So worth pursuing, definitely. 3 connected cities. It's not worth taking every ambition you come across, so you want to consider how easy it is going to be to complete these. You get the lifetime of your ruler to complete an ambition. If the ruler dies before you manage to complete your ambition, then it will become a legacy, and basically that puts you on a timer. You get 20 years for a legacy with the new ruler, and then if that fails, then you'll lose the ambition. You'll also lose legitimacy for not being able to complete it. So it's worth considering when you're taking an ambition how old your ruler is. Do you think you're going to be able to do this in their lifetime or 20 years after that? And if not, probably better not to take them. We got other options though. We could get some science and an ambition to enact vassalage, which is a law. Which if we hover over the tooltips and lock them, we can see this requires aristocracy, which is a technology that we do not yet have. Or we can just get some experience. So what we want to do really is consider how likely we are to get 3 connected cities or enact vassalage. We'll just minimise that for a moment. We've got 2 cities. This one is not connected. If you look on the right hand side by the left of the mini-map, we've got some overlays here. One of them is a trade network overlay. So in order for cities to be connected, you need to either have a road or a river or an ocean coming from the capital to that city. So we can see the overlay here is showing these green tiles are connected to the city thanks to the river, and this city site down here is connected thanks to this river, but this city here is not connected at all. We would need to build a road all the way down here in order to make the city connected. So as soon as we build a city on this city site, that will immediately be connected. But if we want to connect any others, see this is in yellow, this is not connected, we'll need to start building roads, and we do have the technology to build roads, because that requires a labour force, which we got out of an event for free earlier. So we can build some roads. That's definitely an option. It will require some work attempts to do, but it wouldn't be too hard. The other option was enact vassalage. Now, vassalage requires aristocracy. If we have a quick look at the tech tree, science button up here, then aristocracy is here. We need to get divination first, then aristocracy, then spend 400 civics to enact this law, which is quite a lot, and also probably not what we really want to be doing. We don't really want vassalage right now. It's better later in the game. Vassalage gives you maintenance reduction on all your units. We don't have very many units, so it's not going to do a huge amount for us right now. So I think we can probably do 3 connected cities. We can immediately get one as soon as we stand on this city site. We're already connected by this river, and we can just build a road from this city site down to this city here. Now we'll get it connected. So let's do that. We also get a little bit of free culture in Babylon. Before we build those roads, I'd love to get this quarry going so we can actually get some marble income. So before we start spending stone building roads, we probably ought to secure a source of stone so we don't run out. So right, we've got some more tech choices now. Military drill will let us get barracks. That will be quite handy for training units. Navigation is a fantastic technology because it unlocks, oops, didn't mean to click there. It unlocks biremes so we can build ships, but more importantly it unlocks a couple of laws: colonies and serfdom. Colonies lets you buy tiles with money, which is fantastic for expanding your empire. Serfdom gives you 5 orders a year, which is also fantastic. So we've currently got an income of 12 orders a year. If we get serfdom, that will boost that up to 17. That will be a huge get for us. It'll be very helpful indeed. Phalanx is a 2nd level unit, unlocks spearmen, so that's definitely going to be useful if we're going to be fighting. It would be very useful against the Numidians because they are spearmen are anti-mounted, extra 50% bonus against mounted units, of which the Numidian horsemen down here are. So that would be good. Or metaphysics is more of a later tech. It lets you convert state religion to build archives. Archives are okay for science, especially with a scholar leader, because you get an extra bonus science for having archives with scholars. But I think we would like navigation. I think we'd like to get the extra orders going. Orders are never bad to have. If you have too many orders, you don't have enough units. But it is quite hard to have too many orders in Old World. Right, let us come and start working on this next Numidian camp. Let's get this unit down. Start moving the militia down as well. There is another row in here which we really ought to explore. We can get our scout to do that when we have the orders to do it. We did start tutoring, didn't we? Yes, we've got 2 tutor missions going now, from our courtier and our king, which is the most we can be doing, so that's fantastic. Oligarch is superstitious. So superstitious, not a great trait, reduces their wisdom by 2, but it doesn't necessarily cause us huge problems because the oligarch is the head of the family, the head of the trader's family in this case, but their stats don't contribute directly to our income. So it's only the leader, the heir, and the first several successors, and then courtiers who contribute directly to your income. These other characters, can be relevant if they're generals or governors, but don't immediately give you yields. All right. Princess Kashaya has got a rebel phase. She's been roaring away and refusing to listen to our wisdom. Young royals choose a city she's shaping up to be a fine zealot. Ugh, yuck, we don't want the zealot. Zealot would ruin her wisdom. Let's give her -1 wisdom, which we're trying to stack up on Princess Kashaya. She's got 7 already. If we can get more and more, then we'll get huge amounts of science coming in. We do not want Kashaya to be a zealot. Oh, in fact, yes, she'd lose -5 wisdom because she is currently a schemer, which is giving her 4 wisdom. If we made her a zealot, She'd lose 5 wisdom, would lose 7.5 science. That's absolutely awful. Unfortunately, the other option here is we're going to have to make her bitter. So yeah, some events you are just going to have to choose between 2 bad options. That's not always going to be something you want out of this, but we're just going to have to say bitter and lose a couple of civics. That's okay. So now we've got a follow-up event from the attack by a bear event earlier we had when we first contacted Egypt. We're getting extra opinion with Egypt. This is temporary opinion, only lasts 20 years, but it's going to make them like us a little bit more first. But we do get to choose from a couple of nice options. So we can become affable, which is going to give us loads of extra growth in all our cities, plus extra in our capital where we're governing. Very nice indeed. Or we can trade a little bit of food to Egypt in exchange for some coin. We're going to take the growth. We're going to become affable, which is fantastic. Will help our settlers come out quicker. We're going to want to keep building settlers and blob out over the map. That'd be lovely. We can see Egypt has gone up to 2 victory points now, so we can see they've got 2 cities, so they've managed to settle somewhere. We don't know where. We can only see their capital. But, let's turn that trade network overlay off now. But we do want to build a road. So let's get our worker here. So in order to build a road, it's probably best to come down to this city first. Trying to think about the best way of doing this. Right, turn it back on again. So in order to connect the trade network, these urban tiles from the city site count as part of the trade network. If we can connect these urban tiles up to any of these green tiles, then that makes the city connected. So the quickest route is coming from this city site straight down here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just thinking, if we found this next city as the artisan family, we'll get a free worker, and that will be able to start building a road. So that's probably what we're going to do. So let's wait until we found that city. We could start a wonder here. We could build the hanging gardens, which gives some extra growth. Which, sure, why not? Let's get a wonder going. Let's build the hanging gardens. Love it. That's going to take us 11 turns. So wonder. It is going to get us some growth, some culture, and some victory points. So every wonder you build gets you victory points, which is another way of winning the game. So in the top left up here, you can see it said 2 out of 58. So we currently have 2 victory points. We need, if we get 58, we will win the game. There's another way of winning, which is called a double victory. So if you manage to get half as many points as is required, so half of 58 would be 29. We get 29 points, and no other nation has more than half our points. So i.e. we have double every other nation's victory points, and we'll also get a double victory. Another way to win. So there's a few different ways to win an old world, and worth bearing in mind. It's not necessarily a game where you have to plan out exactly how you're going to try and win, but yeah, generally everything you do is going to be building up your points, especially building more cities and wonders, and yeah, worth bearing in mind. We have another landmark. Should we call it the Fluffy Plain? Yes, of course we should call it the Fluffy Plain. Make everywhere fluffy. Let's come and attack this Numidian. He's going to get killed in a couple more turns. That's absolutely fine. We'll be alright. We could get the militia down to help, but I think I'd rather do a bit more scouting at the moment. We want to grab these ancient ruins before Egypt decides they would quite like them, and take them off my hands. So let's come and grab this. Try and move efficiently. Found an ancient monument. Passerby, whoever you may be, I was once King of Kings. Grudge me not, therefore, this piece of earth covers my body. Could leave it undisturbed. Come gracious. We get a couple of charisma points out of that. So bad. No king but me. Destroy it. Legitimacy. Legitimacy, always great. Oh, we could just get 360 science, which will, yeah, get us a couple of turns closer to navigation. All good options. I think legitimacy, if you're not sure what stake, legitimacy is always a nice option. Grab that, and yeah, There'll be no king but me, thank you very much. Let's scout back up this way. Fill in this. This looks like it's all coastline up here. We found some nice couple more pearls down here, so this will be another nice trader city here. And a barbarian encampment. We'll have to clear. Oh, we found the Sardonic Gulf. Call it the Sardonic Gulf. I would quite like to call it the Sardonic Gulf. Let's go ahead and do that. Perfect. Sure. Alrighty, we've got a more wisdom on the princess from the King's Tutor event, and then the tutor mission of the courtier has led to an event. Let's have a look, see what's going on here. So it's the tutor event. One day during lessons, Kashaya hears a clamour beyond the palace walls. A group of urchins chase a terrified cat to the meanies. Nidintu notices her pupils' interest and challenges her to intervene. What does the royal tutor advise? Attack the boys and drive them away. We become courageous. Distract them with a humorous story. We become charming. Wait until it's safe and nurse the cat back to health. Get discipline. Do nothing. Urchins will always chase cats. I mean, much as I would like to chase away the mean boys attacking cats, we do want to stack wisdom on the princess. So you know, I think that is what we're going to do. One thing I will mention that there is a option in the game setup called role-playing mode. So if you are a person who would prefer to not know exactly what the effects of these options are and choose them more based on, you know, the text and what you think your character would do, then you can turn that on and it will just disable all of these little tooltips that tell you what the options do. So you can feel free to choose the options based on what you would rather do. But personally, I prefer playing it for maximising the stats, and you know, you can do it both ways. So let's grab the extra wisdom on the princess. Take her up to 9 wisdom, getting us 15 science turns. So she's up to nearly half our empire science output is just coming from our 17-year-old daughter. It's very nice indeed. Let's attack this Numidian. Now, because we're standing out in the open here, we're taking 4 damage a turn from this Numidian. One thing that will reduce the damage this guy can do, because he's ranged, if we go and stand in the trees, instead of doing 4 damage to us, he's doing 2 damage to us. Because if you look at the combat preview, you will see that versus trees, ranged to get a 50% attack penalty. So by doing that, moving around, we're saving ourselves some damage there. We're going to end up clearing that much more safely. So it's worth paying attention to the combat preview and, you know, modifiers like that. So the important ones to know are attacking as ranged into trees is minus 50%, and attacking as melee across a river or from land to sea or vice versa is also minus 50%. So they can be very big swings in your ability to damage or take damage. If you can hide in trees from range, or if you can hide across a river from a melee unit, then that will make a big difference. So definitely worth being aware of that. So we've got a settler out here. We're going to come and settle down on this city site for the connected status. We could actually get there this turn if we force march, and I think that's worth doing. So let's click the force march button. It costs us 100 training, and it now costs us 2 orders instead of 1 to get here. We can do that, and we can settle the artisan seat. Now, the reason I want to settle the artisan seat is because on seat founded they get a free worker, which is exactly what we need to finish our ambition, because that worker is going to come and road down this way. So let's go ahead and do that. We did get another net resource over here and a camp resource here, so that would have been good both for the hunters for the camp and the traders for the net as well. But because we hadn't scouted this terrain, we hadn't seen that, so it can be worth scouting the terrain out a little bit before you found, just to check what resources are there and who would be best placed to take advantage of them. But the worker is what we want. So we come down here. If there's an add road button, we can just click add road to add a road, or if you look at the tooltip, you've got Control R to enable Road 2 mode. So if we hit Control R, we get this tool. We can draw the road we want on the map. Just go directly down to the city, and that will put up a queue. So for the next 5 turns, this worker will just be building a road down towards Opus. And when that's done, we will be connected, and we'll have completed an ambition, which is very helpful. So Babylon has built a settler. I think we've got more city sites to settle. We've still got 1, 2, 3. It looks like Egypt has abandoned this one, so 4 there. Another one over here. So if we can build more cities, then I think that would be a good thing for us to be doing. Gisura has just founded. Normally I would build a worker first thing in a city, but because we're the artisans, we've got a free worker on founding, so that's already done. So I think, bearing in mind that we have all these free city sites, another settler would be good. And yeah, let's just keep lobbing out and take up a nice bit of the map, and that will put us in a good position for later. So the militia here, this Numidian will be dead by the time it gets there, but it could come and help clear this barbarian camp. So let's pop over this way and start doing that. Tutoring is available, right? Okie dokie. Okay, let's undo that move because we want to spend the orders on tutoring. We can tutor via the merchant for another 200 money, and we can tutor via the king, and that will take up all our orders. But yeah, tutoring, great thing to do. Get your as good as they can be, so when they take over, they'll just be a super ruler. So we took 1 more attack from that Numidian, but it didn't do very much damage because we're standing in the trees. So the Duke, second in line, is now old enough to be tutored. He's reached 10 years old, so once we've finished tutoring the princess, we can start tutoring the Duke. Unfortunately, the princess has lost to charisma. That's just a random event that can happen from time to time, so unfortunate, but there it is. At least she didn't lose wisdom. Could be worse. So she's returned from her philosophy studies, but would like to retain the tutor for additional training. Can we get some more wisdom? Yeah, we can get some more wisdom. Perfect. Let's do that. Turn inward and self-discovery, please. Yes, thank you. The Duke is growing up fast and is eager to learn. Now we can choose a area of study for our next heir. We can choose philosophy, politics, tactics, or commerce. Now, this will influence what archetype they can end up being. So the archetype is what type of leader they'll be and what bonuses they get. So our current leader is a scholar, which is letting him do this tutor child mission. Our first heir is a schemer, which has a lot of interesting bonuses. Get lots of orders, you can adopt children, you can ask other nations to declare war on each other. Nice bit of scheming. But yeah, we can choose how we want to educate our second in line, or we can send them out in the world. We can make them exploring, which will get extra events, which we can see how that works out. One thing to know is that if you have the exploration law active, then you can often get extra benefits from some exploring events. So let's send our second line out exploring. Let's get him out to see the world and get some education that way. See what we can achieve there. So we can clear this Numidian site here now. Taking in local chief captive. Ask the court to show mercy to spare his young son. Should we send them both away in chains for full legitimacy? Spare the boy and kill the father will become steadfast, which gives us extra bonuses when fighting tribal units. That would be very helpful. Or we could raise the boy as our own. We'd lose legitimacy for this, and potentially we could change the succession, which can be quite dangerous. So this, for example, is the 12-year-old kid. If we adopted him, then that would supplant our Duke Marduk. He would, because this boy is older, he would become the second in line, pushing the Duke down to be the third in line, which he will not be happy about. So I'm not super excited about that. We could send them away and changing at legitimacy. or become steadfast. Let's get some legitimacy. Let's send them away in chains. Bad time for adoption. The kid is busy tutoring his king is busy tutoring his kids already. Indeed. Yes, this is true. Yes. No, we don't want to. We don't really want to mess with the succession right now. Right, and welcome to the stream, by the way, Cinnamumi. Right, we've got this militia here. Yes, we're going to send him off. Just check our notifications. We do have a couple of governors available. We have the civics available to add a governor. We'll have a quick look at what options there are. So we can see the king has already got a job. He's already governing Babylon, but he is an option. We could reassign him. We've also got the queen consort, which will give us something a little bit. As a diplomat, she'll give us some family opinion with the icing if we need that. We'll have a quick look at the family opinions of the various families. They're all reasonably happy. They're fine with that. In the artisan seat, we've got a couple of options here. We've got the queen consort again can be governor here because that's one of the special benefits of diplomats. She's a diplomat. She can be governor anywhere. Governor for any family. Or we've got this artisan judge here. So judges are quite nice. They can rush specialists with their special ability as the governor. Hurry projects and specialists for money. But A, that does need developing culture, which we are not quite up to yet. And B, we don't really have anyone to rush. And C, we would like to save our civics. So assigning governor will cost us 100 civics. We have 140, so we have enough. But we would like to start enacting some laws at some point. We've got navigation 3 turns, and it costs us 400 civics every time you want to enact a law, which we will be able to do as soon as we research navigation. Plus, we already have the choice of slavery or freedom. So we really need to save up some of those civics. Civics can be quite hard to come by. They're quite a precious resource, so you don't want to spend them willy-nilly and just assign governors as soon as you're able to. Definitely worth considering the benefits and the costs of that and whether you'd be better off saving those civics for something else. So we're not going to do that at the moment. So let's just right-click the notifications so they don't bother us. So that will re-pop up when we get new choices for governors, but until then it'll just get that out of the way, so we won't have to look at that anymore. Right, so we've finally got our first quarry online, so that's not so bad. What else have we got? We've got decent food income now. We've got a little bit of stone. We have no iron coming in. We don't have any urban buildings really we can build apart from a garrison. Garrison would give us some half an order, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they do add up. Orders are very precious. Do we need iron? Not really, actually. We've got a decent stockpile. We don't massively need any at the moment. So I think I'm quite happy to build a garrison. So if we have a look at the garrison here, we can see every tile that it's eligible for is got the little 0.5 order yield on. So things to consider for where you want to place that garrison. If you build it on an already existing urban tile, then it will be a little bit cheaper. It will cost you less stone. If you build it next to your borders, so for example this tile up here, then that will expand borders. Because it's an urban, it's an urban building can expand borders, so we'll get a little bit more of these tiles in our empire. Same if we build it here. If we build on a hill, it will take a little bit longer to build. If we build on this forest, then it will clear the forest, which is not something we necessarily want to do, because we want to save that forest for when we get forestry and build some lumber mills on them. I could build on the hill, but I don't massively want these extra 2 tiles in my borders. Plus, it would be quite nice to have some spots for building mines on. Mines are much better on hills. You can see we get 8 iron on a hill, whereas we only get 5 iron if we don't build on a hill. So that would definitely be something. Cinnamumi says, I'd love to expand the urban area westwards towards the flat plains, but that seems rough to do. Yeah. We could expand out this way. It's possible. I think I would like to urbanise this way, to be honest. Yeah, it doesn't really matter hugely, but it's definitely easier to build urbans this way where we already can. Let's just pop it here, I think, next to the city. We can get him to move. Yes, perfect. Good. Thank you. And yeah, got a couple more scout moves we can make. I'd quite like to go and see what Egypt is up to. Where's our other scouts? Chilling out by the barbarian down here. So this kind of looks like the edge of the map down this way. We've got coast. Might not necessarily be the edge, but it's at least some sea in the way, so we can't immediately deal with that. So let's come over this way. See what else we can find. And stand on a hill again to get some good vision. This way. So if we can nab the city site from Egypt, that would be quite nice. If we stand a unit on the city site, that will make it ours, and no one else will be able to grab it. We ought to be settling towards Egypt, because if we don't take these city sites, then they will. So definitely the next settlers we build, it would be good to expand out towards Egypt. We have a couple more orders on the scout. Let's come this way and see what's going on. We could come, because we have exploration, we can actually get our scout to move on the water. It's one of the effects of the exploration law that we have active. Scouts move on water. So we could actually go and see what's over here. Perhaps we'll do that. Perhaps we'll send him back this way. And next turn, come and have a look over the water. So one thing to note here that I didn't mention earlier, when scouts stand on forests, they become hidden. There's a little icon under the scouts crest here. Hidden units cannot be seen by other units. Scouts and ranged units with a tactician leader hidden while on trees. So despite the fact he's standing right next to this barbarian here, the barbarian can't see him and won't attack him. If, for example, this scout was standing on the tile of the urban hill, he would be getting attacked by this barbarian here. Alright, let's end the turn there. Wandering far and wide. Of course, our exploring second in line. He's 11. Intelligent explorer. He's brought him to Egyptian territory, not far from Meneferet. Chance to resupply would be welcome. The city carries its own dangers. So it's revealed the map within 2 tiles. If we just minimise this event, we can see now this city that we didn't have vision on before has just been uncovered by this event, plus the area around it. And you can see these are Egypt's 2 cities, so that's a nice plus from that exploration event. It's giving us a bit more eyes on what our neighbours in Egypt are up to. Let's have a look at what the options are. We can enter Meneferet, which will lead to a future event. We don't know what's going to happen, but it could be something good, could be something bad. Travel further, keep to wilderness routes. We have a chance to become ill, which we don't want. Pathfinder gives us a bonus to camps and nets. Not super exciting. Turn back towards the safety of Babylonia, just nothing happens. We'll come home, stop exploring. Don't want that. Let's enter Meneferet and see what happens. Okay. Bazaars of Meneferet bring with overwhelming abundance of goods, smells, and packs of street dogs. New supplies for further exploration are secured, while a passing kindness to a friendly mutt earns the Duke an unshakable companion. He's becoming compassionate. Out of curiosity, how do the local Egyptians say no biting? We're becoming a dog owner as well. Love it. There's a 4 net city site on the map, so Pathfinder could have been decent. Pathfinder, yeah, it might have been okay for the Duke, certainly. But, yeah, I'm happy with being a compassionate dog owner. Okie dokie. Right, Ndintu, who is my court merchant, is tutoring my kid, has asked to speak with me in private. Tell you how I feel. I could never resist a man with such great knowledge. I know this must be a surprise to you. I'll use some time to think about what I've said. So she's in love with me. Perfect. So that gives us a huge amount of opinion with her, because she likes me, which is boosting all her yields, which is a lot to take in. Yeah, sure. Potentially could lead to some more excitement. Our wife might become jealous. She might not be too happy that a Portia is in love with me. Let's grab this slinger and head upwards here to this barbarian camp. And we'll see, you can see on the tribal camp here now, it's got this 10-year counter. It's going to develop into a hovel in 10 years if we leave it untouched. So we will need to remember that. Let's just pop ourselves a little reminder. Numidian respawn turn 21. Let's have an 8-turn reminder on that to give us a chance to pop back down and see what's going on that city site if we don't settle it first. We have got enough experience now to earn a promotion. You can see that from the little plus icon on the unit crest here. It's also shown on the unit list here. You can see there in green, promotion available. So when you've earned enough experience to get a promotion, you can take this. Normally spending training to give a unit a promotion will put that unit on cooldown, so they can't be used again this turn, but free promotions don't do that, so that's quite useful. Let's give them the eagle eye promotion so they can ignore the distance modifier, so they can attack from a distance and still do full damage. That will help them clear out this camp without taking too much damage. Get the militia over to help. We could put him in range of this barbarian, but I don't think we want to do that just yet. So let's wait on the... Well, let's just go here, I suppose. If we hover over the barbarian, you can see there's a red outline that shows their range here. They've got a range of 2, so we are outside of their range. If they were on a hill, that will give them 1 extra range, but they're not. So that's fine. And yeah, a couple more scout moves. So yeah, see right here, let's have a little poke around, see what's going on. We've discovered a river, the Mosella River, because we are not the first nation to discover it. Egypt's already been here. We don't get to name it, but we do get 1 legitimacy for finding it at least, so a consolation prize. Let's see what else we can see. And again, Egypt's already found Ecosian Bay. Sure, we'll take the extra legitimacy, and yet another city site here. So this is definitely an artifact of the easier difficulty level. As you go up in difficulty levels, you will not see anywhere near as many empty city sites. You will have to fight for them. But yeah, at this level, you can settle peacefully quite often. So we did say we were going to go exploring over the water, so let's get our scout out. Go see what we can see this way. And call that a turn. So Persia has become constructing the Oracle. Okay, so we know that Persia is on the map somewhere. And when they finish building the Oracle, we will get to see them as well. But they are hidden for the moment. We haven't met them yet. Right, so we've got discipline and charisma on the princess. I would have preferred wisdom, but sure, okay. Fair enough. We can't tutor the duke because he's off exploring and the princess is now too old to be tutored again. So no more tutoring needs to be done at the moment. We do have a settler at Babylon. We can send them down. Let's come and settle towards Egypt, shall we? Now, once this road completes, it will connect to Opis, which will then, the Fluffy Sea will then have a full connection as well, which means this city site will be connected, and it will connect up to the river, which will connect down to this city site. So this city site will be connected as well. So that's perfect. Let's come down this way, come settle on this site. Opis could probably usefully build a settler as well. It's going to take 8 years, but let's keep going. It's a shame none of these resources give us growth. So we're getting nets are giving us extra culture and goodies from being the trader seat, because we get 100% output from nets. If these were fish or crabs, we'd be getting loads of extra growth from them. But we're going to have to settle for the culture and money, which is a consolation prize. Let's grab attacks with these 2 guys and keep on exploring. Yet another city site up this way. And the Thracian Sea. Okay, right. Cinnamummy, would you like to name the Thracian Sea? I'll give you a moment to think about that while I have a drink of water, but feel free. We've already got a fluffy sea, so, you know, Sea of Fluff maybe is another option, but let's call it, if we don't get any more suggestions, I'm going to call it the Cinnamummy Sea. Cinnamummy. Explorer done. Right, so yes, we've got a new compliment. So because we've explored some more tiles, we've named some things, then... oh, I've misspelled it. I do apologise. Close, though. Close. But yes, we've got a new compliment. We've got the Explorer compliment, so we're getting more legitimacy from that. And, yeah, that's getting us more family opinion. It's getting us more orders. Can we just undo that? Let's do that again. Try and actually spell that properly this time. There we go. Sino Mumi C. Okay, better. Okay, so we've got an event because we became the Explorer. We can make friends of those we've met on our travels. Send 2 luxuries to tribes. We don't actually have any luxuries at the moment. We've only met the one tribe who we're at war with, so we probably don't really want to be sending them luxuries. Control 6 farms. We could build 6 farms. We haven't really built a lot of workers as yet. So it's definitely something we could do. I'm not sure we really want to. Or we could just take 2 legitimacy, follow our own path. So this is what I was saying earlier. Well, we could take one of these ambitions and we could likely do probably both of them. This luxury strides would be harder than 6 farms, but it's not something we're particularly aiming for. While we would like to complete ambitions, the way this system works is that the more ambitions you do, the harder they will become. And if you have ambitions already, you're less likely to be offered new ambitions. So if we turn that down, we're more likely to just roll a new ambition. 6 farms. Just have a think about that. We've got 3 workers. One of them's going to be building the handguns for the next 7 years. One of them's building a road. And yeah, no, I don't think we want to build the farm. So Tsunamama says, how likely would you be offered another second ambition if you decline this? You know, having one is guaranteed. Right, so yeah, so the way the ambition system works is you will be, if you have no active ambitions, then you will be offered one at every 5 turns at least. If you do have an active ambition, you can get offered more via events like this, but it's random. There's no guarantee you'll get a random event. The only guarantee for an ambition offer is if you don't already have one. So we won't necessarily get offered another one if we decline this until we complete the 3 connected cities. But that's okay, because we're going to complete the 3 connected cities ambition in a couple of turns. So we will likely get offered another one as soon as we complete this or shortly afterwards. So I'm happy turning that down for the moment. Right, another settler is out. We've got 2 more on the way. Let's see. Let's do a quick count of city sites. So we're going to settle this one next. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we still need more settlers. Need to keep expanding. And I would definitely recommend... Well, it's definitely possible to over-expand in Old World. If you have too many cities, you can kind of collapse under your empire's weight. But getting a nice base of 6 to 9 cities, I would say, is good to set you up, and then you can perhaps focus on developing your empire a bit more after that once you've expanded out. At least that's the way I like to play it. You absolutely don't have to. You can have a taller empire and just have fewer cities. You can just have 1 city if you like. There is a 1 city challenge in the game. You can just play with 1 mega city and do that. But I like to blob out a little bit. Assyria contacted. We found another nation. So what is our demeanour as we approach them? We'll be humble, friendly or prideful. So basically the options here are we could get a big amount of opinion for a short time, or a moderate amount of opinion for a moderate amount of time, or a low amount of opinion for a very long time. I think, let's have a look. What is our current opinion? They do not like us at all. And if we hover over them in the left-hand corner, we can see we've also met Carthage. I'm not sure I knew that I'd met Carthage. But Syria is stronger than us. They are primitive. They don't know very much. They've only got 2 cities, but they're stronger. So let's make them very happy for a short amount of time, because we want to keep them happy while we're still expanding. And then once we have finished our expansion binge, we can militarize up a bit and not worry too much about having to placate people. But we don't want to annoy people just yet. Actually, we have just encountered Carthage this turn. So we've met 2 nations this turn. The world map is starting to fill out a bit. Let's just minimise this and have a look at where people are. So yeah, the Carthage scout has popped down here, and Assyria, yes, our scout was actually headed up far enough to find the Assyrian capital. In fact, this is. That's there, but Carthage is way over here, so Carthage is quite a long way away. So Assyria is possibly our closest neighbour. Yeah. No, there's not too much in it. Actually, they're all kind of equidistant. But anyway, met the Carthaginians. They're whipping a man bound by his wrists and ankles, telling us to move along. Follow their advice, get an opinion with them, but we might become cruel. Or, because we are regal or thoughtful, we're thoughtful because we're a scholar. So these regal or thoughtful, they're what's known as trait groups. So if you are either a schemer or a scholar or a judge, then you become thoughtful. And some of these events will require one of these trait groups in order to choose one of the options. And in this case, we get the choice. So if we were martial, so if we were one of these more military-focused archetypes, we could fight them for possession of the prisoner, which would mean we get the courtier, but would lose opinion with Carthage. Whereas this way, we get the courtier and Carthage holds a favour from us. So we'll lose a little bit of opinion from Carthage, but not so much. And yeah, let's do that. Great. Save Malchus from peril and get ourselves a new courtier. So he now appears in our courtier list down here. He's a righteous, scarred orator with a decent amount of charisma. He's getting us some civics income. Very nice, very nice. More choice of tech. Let's see. Drama. We could start the music. That's probably what we should be doing, right? We need to get some music going before this stream finishes. That would be nice to have. Yeah, let's not even look at it. We'll take drama. That is a thing in this game. If you want to hear the music in game, you do need to research drama. Okay, let's keep attacking this barbarian camp. We've got a couple of governors available. We're still saving civics. It doesn't mean because this has popped up again, we do have new candidates. Of course, Malchus the Righteous, who's just appeared, is now a candidate. He doesn't have a family, so he can govern any of our cities. Normally, your governors have to be the same family as the city you want them to govern. But people without families and diplomats can govern anywhere. But again, we're still saving civics. We still haven't got up to 400 civics, and we've got 2 available laws that we would really like to be enacting. So we're going to just dismiss that again. Sorry, Malchus, you're good, but you're not good enough to be a governor right now. And let's come and grab a couple of the resources down here. Now, because we've founded all our 3 families, we no longer get the choice for our 4th family. We have to give it to one of our existing families. So, do we want to give it to the hunters, the artisans, or the traders? So, when we're thinking about this, we need to think about what bonuses they get. So the hunters get bonuses from camps. We can't see any camp resources here. The only resources we see are a couple of sheep, which are both pasture resources, so we don't particularly get any benefit from being the hunters. Artisans, we get mines and lumber mill output. We do have quite a lot of forest and hills here, so that would be a good benefit for them. Plus some extra free culture here, always nice. Traders get benefit from nets. There's no net resources here. So this to me looks like an artisan city. There are other considerations. You do want to keep your number of cities per family reasonably balanced, otherwise they'll start getting upset. But yeah, I think that's a reasonable benchmark for where you should found. Is look at the family bonuses and see what you'll get the most use out of from a particular city. So we get another cognomen. We're now the pioneer for founding cities. We've founded 4 cities, so we get some more legitimacy. Great. And let's grab a worker here so we can start improving some of these resources. So we actually have quite a lot of orders now this turn. We can do a lot of scouting. Let's come and have a look. Let's harvest an elephant. You can get some events popping when you harvest resources, as well as the income you get for doing that. So it's definitely can be worth doing. There's another ancient ruin here. Lovely. Orderly couple. Chief scribe and head priestess of a great sacked city. They want our help. And reconstruct and become gracious, or their leaders are more valuable to us. We get civics and divinations. We get free tech. Divination, which lets us build shrines and gets us on the way to aristocracy, and some civics. I think I would like that over the XP and the stats for the king. So one thing to bear in mind when you're tossing up these permanent benefits like free tech versus a temporary benefit for upgrading the king. The king's not going to be around forever. He's only 39, so he's still quite young. But one day this guy will die, and these bonuses will no longer be relevant. Whereas we're always going to have divination and those civics. So I'm going to say that. And let's see what else we can see. Keep scouting. More city sites. Just so many city sites. It's like a revelation coming from normally playing on high difficulty, where you have to fight for your sites for all these empty city sites to be sitting there waiting for you. So yeah, possibly going to risk over expanding here, just because you don't normally get quite so many choices, at least on high difficulties. Yes, let's end the turn there. Wife has given birth to a son, so we've got another kid. Third child, third in line. Excellent. Our general has become bitter. Okie dokie. So we lost some charisma on our general, which is losing us some attack strength. But it's only 3%. Fine. We did complete our ambition to control 3 connected cities. This worker has finally finished building this road. So that ambition is done. So hopefully soon we will get the chance to get another ambition, but that is even more legitimacy. So now up to 88 legitimacy, so we're getting, each point of legitimacy is 1 to our family opinions, so our families are now starting to look a little bit happier. So as the family opinion goes up, you get extra benefits, so their units fight more effectively, you lose some maintenance cost, and yeah, they're generally quite happy. Whereas if you lose family opinion, you can start getting rebels and bad things happen. So you want to try and keep your families on side if at all possible. So we've got Ant's Gold events. So Marduk's busy out exploring. Whereas giant ants live in the desert. They dig up the ground to build their homes, and in doing so bring gold to the desert. Sounds amazing. So we could send for him to return home, fool's pursuit. We could stay out there and find a way to bring the gold home, or because we have the exploration law, we get this extra option here, which gives us a little bit of science plus some wisdom on the king, which is nice. So we can take that. absolutely storming our way through the tech tree at the moment. So we've got 43 science a turn, which is definitely good. Babylonia has several bonuses for that. So if we look at the nation bonuses, which we never did to start with, so all of their cities get extra science a year and growth, and we benefit more from having treasuries. So science gets an inbuilt advantage to science and growth, and playing as the starting leader, you get your daughter being a schemer already, which can generally you can get her up to be very high wisdom, which gives us a huge amount of science. Plus the king is a scholar who's giving it a decent amount of science as well. So if you like science, then Babylonia is a good starting nation to pick. Alright, let's clear this barbarian site. We get a level up on the general, because as I said earlier, the generals can level independently of the units. You can get steadfast, which gives them a bonus versus tribal units. Brave, which just gives them a bonus against melee units. Or engineer, which gives them a bonus against siege and ship units. We're just fighting tribes at the moment. We're probably not going to be fighting siege or ship units anytime soon. And melee is fine, but it's a lower bonus because it's more general. There's a lot more melee units, so you only get 10%. Steadfast, we actually get 25% versus tribal units. So let's take steadfast. Definitely a good option for clearing camps, and we ought to think about this site is going to respawn on turn 21. So we've got 7 years to get a settler down here and settling the city site. We can probably do that. The question is where we want to settle next. What I might do is just park this militia on the city site. So at the moment we've got a 10-year spawn on the city site. In 10 years it's going to develop into a hovel. If we put the militia there, we stop that timer. And we also claim this site for ourselves. So it's now marked as being the Babylonian site, so no one else can just wander on and settle this site. We're just going to sleep that unit there, and he can just guard that city site for us. Perfect. Right, let's keep exploring. We found some more Numidians, and let's dive off into the ocean, see what's this way. Ooh, laws available. We finally have 400 civics, so a little notification box down here, always worth checking when new things pop up, is telling us that we have laws available. So if we look at our laws pop over here, which is now glowing, we can see we've got a couple of available laws, and if we click there we can see what they do. So we can have slavery, which is giving us stone and iron for all our cities. Freedom, which is giving us more growth and less rebel chance. Colonies, which lets us buy tiles, or serfdom, which gives us extra order, that does give us discontent in all our cities. So extra orders are fantastic. We would love more orders. We're going to take serfdom. So spend 400 civics to enact that, and then that doesn't give us orders this turn, but next turn we will have a higher order income, +5 from serfdom, and we will be able to do more than we previously could. So at the moment we're actually haven't got a huge amount of units, so we're not using up necessarily all the orders we have even at the moment, but we're going to want more units, and we're going to want to do more stuff. So we're probably going to settle these sites we've got available here, and then calm down a little bit on the expansion and start building some more workers, maybe some military units. Probably need to think about protecting ourselves at some point soon. Right, so we've got to work here. We built the garrison here. We did pick up divination from that event, so we have the ability to build these shrines now. The shrines are quite nice. They give us some bonuses, and they found our pagan religion. So religion is fantastic because it's really helpful for increasing the opinion of your families. A good way to keep people happy is religion. So each shrine can only be built once per nation, and once per city as well. Later on you'll get a law that allows you to build more than one per nation, but you can only ever have one of each shrine type per city. And yeah, they have various different effects. They have some basic effects like +1 science, and they also have these potential bonuses like extra civics per adjacent audience. So we've got some adjacency bonuses coming into play with these guys. Science is nice. This one is growth and extra adjacencies for pastures. Culture and then extra adjacency for mountains and volcanoes gives us even more culture. And this is civics and gives us orders per adjacent wonder. Now we do have a wonder under construction, so it would be very good to get our civic shrine down next to that wonder, and then as soon as they're both complete, that's an extra order a year. So if we pop a shrine down here, this will expand our borders because it's an urban building and it's on the edge of the borders. And yeah, like I said, once the hang garden's complete, that will get us an extra order for those wonders. We can see here as we hover over it, we can see the border expansion. It's all the tiles next to it, plus this one in the middle. There's a rule that borders will collapse, so it won't leave gaps in between. If you own the tiles either side of a tile, then the borders will collapse to fill that hole in. So definitely useful. Let's keep scouting, see what else we can find. Let's keep moving as far as we can onto the hill tiles where possible. We're actually going to end this turn with 2 spare orders, so we could actually think about what we can do with those orders. There's some missions we can do as the leader. We can't tutor our son because he is not old enough. This is the 0-year-old just been born, our baby, and this guy is out exploring, otherwise we would be able to tutor him. Rally troops is another mission we can do to get some more training, but it does A, cost us civics, which we don't have, and B, require military drill, which we don't have. One thing your leader can always do is you can spend some money in orders to influence characters. So for example, our queen here we can influence, so it will cost us 200 money and 2 orders, and it'll take a couple of years, and we can influence the queen consort to get +40 opinion. You can only do this once per character, but it's definitely a good way to increase people's opinions of you, and you can also get some nice events out of that. So what we're looking for here is, at the moment we've got cautious +20 opinion. There's breakpoints every 100 opinion points, which will increase everyone's yields of you and can enable certain things, like if your religion head is at 100 opinion, they can intercess with other characters to make another character that follows that religion like you more. But that requires the religious head to be 100 opinion, and the same for the family heads. So family heads are good people to try and get up to 100, and bearing in mind the influence mission is +40, so we're not going to be able to get immediately up to 100 for many of these people. So possibly not amazingly useful. What I think we probably would like to do is influence our daughter, because if we can influence our daughter, influencing will only get us up to +60, but if we can get some more opinion boost somewhere else, she's very high value. She's giving us 19 science. If we get her up to 100 opinion, we'll get an extra 50% on top of that, so that's going to be really, really useful to do. So let's spend the money in the orders to influence our daughter, and we can hope for some more opinion boosts further down the line to get her over that threshold. Okay, unexpected personal connections waiting for direct channel to the leaders of Carthage or Assyria. Okay. And Assyria, surely. Court seeks to improve relations with both nations, but we should proceed with caution. Should we move forward with Carthage or Assyria? Okay, so we can send Carthage 100 wood. Queen Dido would owe us a favour, and that would also remove the whole favour from. So that's actually +40 opinion for owing us a favour and getting rid of -20 opinion. So that's a 60 opinion swing with Carthage if we send them some wood. Or we could give Assyria some science and they would owe us a favour. So that's +40 opinion swing with them. Let's get Carthage on side, shall we? Let's send them some wood. That's fine. We've got wood. Do we need it? We don't really need the opinion with them. They're weaker and primitive than us. No, I don't think we really care about them opinion. Whereas Assyria is stronger. There's an argument for appeasing Assyria. But we don't really want to give them science over. No, we're gonna be greedy and take the XP there, I think. Right, we've got a promotion on the king, governor of Babylon, and myself. So we can become cunning. Gets us orders per year from estates, which would be nice, but we don't have any estates just yet. Not planning immediately on building any. Does give us the ability to build caravans in the city, which is quite a nice thing to be doing, and gives us foreign tribal leader opinions with everyone. So that's quite a decent boost to our opinions, in fact. Pathfinder here. It's going to boost up all our camps and nets. So that's going to give us some extra food and growth and a tiny bit of orders. Definitely not bad at all. Robust is going to give us quite a lot. Let's see if we can actually get that to pop up properly. There we go. So we're getting 1 order a year as the governor, and all cities are giving us 0.5 orders a year. So if we look at our cities, we've got 4 cities. So that's 2 orders from Robust plus 1 from being governor. That's an extra 3 orders a year. Definitely nice. I don't know if we actually need those orders, but I would always recommend getting as many orders as you can. We don't massively need the food either. A little bit of growth wouldn't hurt. No, I ain't going to take Robust. I'm going to take those orders. The war with the Numidians has gone on well enough. You may wish to consider peace. I suppose what one of the Numidian warlords seeks and makes for his sons. We're going to marry our schemer daughter off to a Numidian. Will she thank us for that? If you marry a schemer, they'll probably get on. And some wisdom. Go on then, marry the timid schemer. I'm sure she can boss him around. That would be fine. We get peace with the Numidians, so we don't have to worry about them raiding us anymore. Just helpful. Driven to madness, the High Priestess climbs the top of pyre and burns herself. No. Why? Wild. Okay. Sacrifice whatever is necessary to appease the fears of the people and to please the gods. We lose food and become superstitious. That sounds awful. I reject her words. She was a mad woman. I was never a fan of theatrics. We become cursed. Okay. Not good. Not good. So cursed is a trait that's, nobody knows whether curses are real. Misfortune some people attract definitely is. Whatever comes next will likely not be pleasant. Yeah, horrible options there, but we are not becoming superstitious and burning all our food to appease some people, so let's become cursed and see what happens. Diplomats from Assyria seek the court for recognition. Welcome them with open arms. See them when it's convenient. And solicited visitors will not be heard. This option loses us discontent on all our cities, but we do get a point of charisma, and probably will lead to a good event. If we welcome them with open arms, let's welcome them with open arms. See what happens there. Sounds good. Early ambitions. Okay, so we do have another ambition event. We can control 6 walls. Not easy to do. We would need 6 cities for a start, and to build walls in all of them. That will take us a while. 6 urban improvements is going to be a lot easier. We've already got 2. You can see it shows you here 2 of 6. And we've got the hanging gardens and a shrine coming online already, so that will be another 2. So that should be not too hard to do. Kill 5 military units. Not really fighting anyone at the moment, so I'm not sure we're going to be doing that. Or we could just take a legitimacy for not doing an ambition. The legitimacy is an option, but I think the 6 urban improvements, we can probably do that. So let's take that, and we can upgrade our son. Take some wisdom, charisma, or courage. Let's stack charisma on this guy. Let's get some more civics coming in. Alright, I think that is going to do it for this week. Thank you for joining us for the live stream, if you're watching us live, and thank you for catching up on the VOD or on YouTube later, if that's what you're doing. We'll be back next week for another episode. We'll continue this playthrough, and yes, we will see you then. So thanks for joining us. Bye for now.